Outside the top 30, the exact same model jumps into the top 5. That leap didn't come from upgrading the core artificial intelligence. It came from engineering the infrastructure surrounding it. Here are the structural receipts, spanning 51 pages, requiring 3 critical corrections, stripped down to 9 clinical minutes. Google's white paper maps a brutal architectural split. 10% model, 90% system harness. But that 90% harness framework is completely open source, and you will build it on your local machine this week. If the engine is only 10%, what constitutes the remaining 90%? The software development bottleneck didn't vanish when intelligence got fast. It migrated. Implementation tasks that traditionally took engineers weeks, now resolve within seconds. But design specifications, system architecture, and robust verification stay stubbornly tethered to human velocity. Quick context because the vocabulary matters. Karpovy coined vibe coding in early 2025. Within a year, he was already narrowing it and coined agentic engineering for the disciplined end. Google's paper stretches that into a spectrum with 3 positions: vibe coding, structured artificial intelligence-assisted coding, and agentic engineering. 3 rows decide where you sit. Intent, casual prompts on one end, formal specs and memory files on the other. Verification, does it seem to work, versus automated test suites, CI, CD gates, and LM judges. And risk, high but acceptable for disposable code versus low, because checking is systematic. The paper's own advice is a slider, not a badge. A weekend prototype can be pure vibe coding. A production API handling financial transactions demands agentic engineering. Most real work sits in between, and the skill is knowing where to draw the line for each task. Then comes the sentence that carries the whole paper. The true developmental axis is not whether you choose to deploy an API. It is how much rigid structure you build around it. How much time you spend on programmatic debugging and verification, and how much human judgment systematically controls that model's output. So if verification is the axis, what do you actually build? The 90% itemized. Here's the 90% itemized, but one of these 6 pieces does most of the quiet work. The paper's anatomy of a harness has 6 parts. Rules files, like agents.md or claude.md. The text that defines what the agent is and what it's forbidden from doing. Tools, the functions and MCP servers it can call. Sandboxes, where its code actually runs and what it cannot reach. Orchestration, the logic that spawns sub-agents and routes between models. Hooks, deterministic code that fires before a tool call or a commit. The paper calls hooks the place for things the agent should never forget, but often does. And observability, the logs and evils that tell you whether it's doing well or quietly drifting. The paper's own metaphor, the model is a raw engine on the factory floor. An engine on its own cannot manufacture a car. It needs belts, gears, safety sensors, and an assembly line. If you're in Claude Code or Cursor every day, the behavior you experience is dominated by what that harness does, not just by which model sits underneath. And every piece of it is a text file, a script, or a config that fits on your laptop, free. But does the 90% actually move a number? Here's the receipt. On Terminal Bench 2.0, one team moved a coding agent from outside the top 30 to the top 5 by changing only the harness. No model change at all. And a separate study at LangChain raised an agent score on the same benchmark by 13.7 points. They tweaked only the system prompt, the tools and the middleware around a fixed model. That's the part that got me. Nothing about the model changed. The paper's diagnosis is blunt. When an agent does something wrong, the first instinct is to blame the model. More often, the failure traces back to a missing tool, a fake rule, an absent guardrail, or a context window stuffed with noise. Most agent failures, examined honestly, are configuration failures. And this isn't one vendor's take. Anthropic published its own harness engineering piece a few months before this paper. 2 frontier labs converging on the same thesis is worth noticing. And yet the number everyone repeats from this paper was never measured. That's coming. First 30 seconds on the community that teaches exactly this. Over 1,000 builders. Daily hangouts, weekly workshops, and a community that actually ships together. 2 full courses. The Agentic Coding course, 18 modules, master the systems that make AI coding repeatable. And the Second Brain Bootcamp, 8 modules. Build your own personal AI system from scratch. Link in description, 10% off. Back to the video, back to the paper and its price tag. Context engineering in Google's framing is a financial lever because you pay for every token you send. Static context, your rules files and persona, loads on every single turn, so every word in it is a recurring cost. Dynamic context loads on demand. Skills are the pattern here. The agency's lightweight metadata at startup and pulls full instructions when a task matches. It can carry dozens of capabilities while paying for the one it's using. That's also where the viral cost number comes from. Past the crossover point, vibe coding can run 3 to 10 times more per feature than the engineered setup. Prompting loops and maintenance tags pile onto every feature. But here's the honesty layer. The paper's own authors call that range illustrative, not a measured constant. It's a shape, not a benchmark, and it got repeated online as a hard number. And the honesty doesn't stop there. The speed numbers cut both ways. The honest numbers are worse than the marketing and more useful. Industry surveys report 25 to 39% productivity gains from artificial intelligence coding. The METR study measured something different. Experienced developers were 19% slower on certain tasks, once the time spent verifying, debugging, and correcting the output was counted. Both numbers sit in Google's paper, side by side. So if artificial intelligence sometimes makes your day longer instead of shorter, you're not imagining it. And you're not doing it wrong. Unverified output doesn't remove work. It moves your work from writing to checking. Which means the fix isn't quitting artificial intelligence. The fix is the verification half of the harness. The tests, the evals, the hooks that catch problems before you have to. And that's exactly what the comment debate under the most viewed coverage of this paper was about. Colmedin's 22-minute breakdown is the most viewed coverage of this white paper, and it's genuinely good. But the debate his comments started forced 3 corrections, and Cole conceded all 3. Correction 1. Conductor mode isn't a phase you graduate out of. Commenters pointed out that hands-on mode stays essential for brownfield code, debugging, and security-critical work. It's a walkway between 2 modes, not a one-way door. Correction 2. Another commenter defended specialized sub-agents paired with cheap models. Routing simple tasks to smaller models still wins on cost, which matches the paper's own model routing advice. And correction 3. The 1090 split isn't a constant. It scales with task complexity. On a simple task, the model share is much higher. Cole took all 3 on board. So here's what you actually build this week free. 5 moves, all free. 1. A rules file, 10 lines, stack, conventions, hard rules, workflow. 2. Install 1 skill for your coding agent. 3. Add 1 hook for the thing your agent keeps forgetting. 4. Write the test and evals before you generate the code. They're the contract. And 5. Review every line that ships, and every time the agent does something it shouldn't, add a rule. That retrospection loop is how the file earns its keep. The paper closes with 1 sentence. Generation is solved. Verification, judgment, and direction are the new craft. So, model or harness? Which one is actually carrying your results? Pick a percentage and drop it in the comments. And subscribe for more artificial intelligence engineering coverage, minus the hype.